Music fades in softly. What if the yearning in your heart, the soft pain below all the chatter of life, was not a defect? What if it wasn't evidence that something is wrong? What if that profound homesickness you can't identify is actually a compass, a holy memory beckoning you back to a home your mind has lost, but your soul still recalls? More than 800 years, and seekers of truth have come to one man who knew this longing better than most. A scholar, a theologian, a mystic, Rumi. Rumi taught that change does not start with transforming the world around us. It starts with having the courage to venture within. In his own words, yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I am changing myself. Applause swells, and then recedes with music. Rumi starts his masterpiece, the Masnavi, not with a grand flourish, but with an imperative: listen. Listen to the reed and the story it relates, how it sings of being sundered. Since they uprooted me from the bed of reeds, my complaint has caused man and woman to mourn. Anyone who is distant from his origin yawns to return. The reed flute as metaphor for the human spirit, isolated from its origin, weeping in exile, yearning to be reunited with the divine. This is the nature of spiritual nostalgia. This is not a sermon. It is an invitation to see the thread of your longing back to its origin. For the next few moments, allow Rumi's words to be your path, a reflection of a truth you already hold deep within your own heart. The path starts where all human narratives start, with the song of parting. Music swells gently, Rumi reminds us. This sense of strangerhood in the world, this unshakable homesickness, is not illness. It is the most holy and sane aspect of you. It is evidence that you are a part of something greater. Your soul remembers the sea, even when it is stranded in the desert. As Yusuf abandoned his father in tears, so too do we live in longing, awaiting the day of return. Music fades in steady and reflective, did not Joseph, by trial and separation, discover fortune and a kingdom? Did not the single drop of water leave its ocean dwelling, only to find itself again inside an oyster, given new form as a pearl? Rumi reminds us, the journey's pain forms the pearl. The wound gives rise to beauty. Yearning itself is the invitation to adventure, the first step toward the path home. But here is the secret. The way is not outside of you. The map is not inscribed on the world. The way home is always an inward journey. But when we turn inward, we discover the gate is guarded, guards a ruthless tyrant, an idol we ourselves have constructed and adored, the self. Music becomes more intense as Rumi named it the nafs, the ego, the false self, he said. The nafs is not a simple snake, it is a dragon. He related the tale of a snake catcher who had once discovered a powerful dragon encased in the mountains. Assuming that it was dead, he pulled it down to Baghdad, imagining fame, wealth, and recognition. The crowd assembled in wonder as he paraded his victory. But under the sun's heat, the sun of secular acclaim, of pride, of clinging, the dragon moved, the ropes broke, the monster awakened, and in a moment the dragon consumed the very man who believed he had conquered it. This is the ego latent when life is cold and still, but when nourished by desire and approval, it awakens with ruinous might. The ego is the mother of all idols, the whispering voice, I, me, mine. It constructs its throne on possessions, on achievements, on the passing judgments of others. To discover our own true self, we need to look beyond this illusion. Rumi shares another tale. Ayaz, the favorite servant of a great king. The other servants hated him. They thought he must be keeping treasure in a hidden room. One day they smashed down the door, but discovered no gold, no jewels, only an old patched pair of shoes and a shepherd's cloak. The king demanded, Ayaz, what is this? Ayaz responded, O king, these are my beginnings. This is who I was when you discovered me. I keep them here so that I will not forget that all I am and all I possess is a gift from you. Myself is nothing. Your grace is everything. This is the antidote for the ego, remembrance, and humility. Ayaz's true riches were not material possessions, but the knowledge that his value came only from the source. By remembering his nothingness before the divine, he overcame the dragon of the nafs. Music swells gently, warm and golden. Here is the master secret. The job is not to create a more powerful, more egotistical ego. The job is to recognize the ego for what it is. An illusion, to acknowledge the dragon before it awakens. This is what Rumi was speaking about when he said, "Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it." The dragon is the barrier. The idol in the mirror is the barrier, and only one fire can melt it. A fire that incinerates all that is unreal. That fire is named Ishq, divine love. Music builds to a crescendo. The love Rumi writes about isn't soft. It is alchemy. It is a fire that reorders the atoms of the soul. It is a burning, passionate, all-encompassing love of the beloved. Love is a sea. The sky is but foam upon the sea. The waves of love crack the sky open. Love looks like fire. For Rumi, this torrent of fire arrived in the guise of a man, a traveling mystic by the name of Shams of Tabriz. Shams was not simply an instructor. He was a mirror complete. In the eyes of Shams, Rumi did not see a man, but the face of God. This is the way of the beloved. The soul loves a mirror of God, and in loving, it loses itself. It is sacred destruction, a divine death of the little self, so that the greater self may come into being. I have died to myself, and I live for you. I have vanished from my own attributes, and I exist only in yours. If I love myself, it is really you I love. If I love you, it is myself I love. This is the condition the Sufis term fana, the destruction of the self in the master, an opening to the destruction in God. In this flame of love, the lover and the beloved are melted together. The independent I perishes. It is for this reason that Rumi frequently signed his poems not with his own name, but with Shams. He was not talking as Rumi the thinker anymore. He was talking as a vessel, a conduit of the passion that overwhelmed him. Asterisks, why do you remain in prison when the door is wide open? Move beyond the web of fearful thoughts. Be quiet. Be like a moth, so you can taste the sweetness of the flame. This is love, to fly to a secret sky, to drop 100 veils every moment. First, to release life, and finally, to take a step without feet. Asterisk, these are Rumi's ecstatic songs of surrender, poems that point beyond the mind and the body to a love that carries us where reason cannot follow. Music builds softly, then stabilizes like waves. Love is a fire that requires a sacrifice. It calls us to give up our dearest possession, our intellect, our reason, or desire to control and know everything. Rumi speaks of a proud scholar, a grammarian, who once set sail on a ship. He questioned the simple sailor at the helm. "Have you ever learned grammar?" The sailor answered. "Number." The scholar sneered. "Then you have spent half your life for nothing." A moment later, a storm broke out in violence. The ship started to disintegrate. The sailor cried out to the shuddering scholar, "Do you know how to swim?" "No," wailed the scholar. The sailor answered, "Then, O scholar, you have wasted your entire life." This Masnavi tale shows us the limitations of knowledge in the intellect. The storm is the all-encompassing presence of the divine, where reason dissolves, and only surrender can buoy us up. Reason is a lovely instrument. It can lead you to the threshold of the truth, but once at the door of the king, you have to leave reason behind. Rumi clarifies, reason is good to lead you to the tailor. But once you give him the uncut fabric, reason has to step back. You have to have faith in the tailor's pattern, even when you see only a single thread. This giving up is not ignorance, it is a higher intelligence, the wisdom of the seed which does not fight but succumbs to the ground, so that it can become a tree. Music transitions to softer, mystical-sounding Rumi invites us. Let go your mind, and then be mindful. Close your ears, and listen. Do not be content with other stories. Unfold your own myth. In order to fully live this wisdom, we must transcend words, transcend poetry, into the silence out of which they emerge. A silence where the drop remembers that it is, and always has been, the ocean. And here, the path of separation comes to a stop. The seeker finds what the Sufis refer to as tawhid, the awareness of unity, that there is only one reality. All separation is but an illusion of the mind. Consider love, how it entwines with the one who is in love. Consider spirit, how it unites with earth, bringing it to life anew. Why conceive of this life and the next as distinct, when they are born of each other? Me beloved springs from my very heart. What more union can there be? Now here, the drop and the ocean are no longer separate. Here, the lover and the beloved are together. Music's soft light. Like the breaking of dawn, the awareness of oneness dispels all illusory separation, spirit and matter, life and death, inner, all melt into a universal oneness. When this breaks upon the soul, the frantic quest ceases. The seeker no longer searches for God out there, for the divine is found within. Rumi says, I sought among Christians for God, on the cross, but could not find him. I went into the ancient temples of idols. No sign of him was there. I went to the Kaaba. He was not there. Even among the thinkers, I searched for him, but he was beyond their sight. At last, I searched my own heart, and there I found him. He was nowhere else. This is the culmination of the journey, the attainment of Hakika truth. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the whole ocean, in one drop. This truth is not distant. It is the essence of who you are. There is a life force within your soul. Seek that life. There is a gem hidden in the mountain of your body. Seek that treasure. O traveler, if you long for that, do not look outside. Look inside yourself and seek it. Music swells, growing like an ocean wave, but the path does not end in lonely ecstasy. The drop, having known itself to be the ocean, returns to the world, carrying the ocean inside it. This is the last phase. To be in the world, yet not of the world. To serve all of creation, for you see the one beloved radiant in every face. The treasure you have found is not to be kept hidden. It is to be shared, for when one soul rises, the whole world is uplifted. Your life is a sacred work of art. You were born with wings. Why do you want to creep through life? Let the beauty of what you love be what you do. Set your world on fire. Find those who fan your flames. Answer every call that stirs your soul. Stop shrinking yourself down. You are the universe. In rapt motion, music builds, shining, triumphant. This is the grand secret. The treasure you've been searching for all your life is already inside you.